Hi, and welcome to Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor. My name's Ashley, and today I can't wait to reminisce with you about some of my favorite DIYs of 2022. This is part 2 of my 2-part series, so if you missed the first one, go ahead and check the description box for the link. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that little notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. Coming into the new year, I have so many house projects and room makeovers and nursery projects that I want to do, and I want to take you along with me as I do them all. So definitely hit that subscribe button and get my notifications. Also, if you love what you see, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps my channel to grow. All right, let's get started into these favorite DIYs of 2022. For my first DIY, we're going to start off with a plunger, and I'm just going to go ahead and twist off the actual plunger part, and by using my heat gun and a scraper, I'm going to go ahead and get off the sticker from the plunger. I don't know why they make it so hard to do, but with a little bit of elbow grease and patience, it will come off. And then I just sanded it down to make it really smooth. And it's okay if you don't get a ton of it on. I mean, it's going to be kind of hidden, so don't kill yourself over it. As you can see, I kind of gave up at the end and I just sanded it down. So just get the majority of it off. Just make it nice and smooth. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a baby wipe. I'm going to dip it in my Waverly antique wax that I get from Walmart. And I'm just going to go ahead and faux stain this plunger, and I'm going to do the entire thing. So I'm going to do the top, the bottom, and obviously all around it. And this is going to give it that darker wood look. I love doing this. I just like the darker wood. I just think it looks so much better. If you like the lighter wood, keep it how it was. And then I'm going to take this little wood piece that I also got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my baby wipe, I'm going to dip it in my Waverly antique wax, and I'm going to faux stain the entire thing, including all the edges. I am not going to worry about the bottom because you're not going to see it. This is going to be used as a base. So I'm just going to hit the edges and the top. Alright, so from the Dollar Tree, we're going to be using these 2 signs, and the first thing we have to do is take them all apart. So I'm going to go ahead and take the little ribbons off and take all the staples off. And we are going to be using everything except for the truck. Now, you can use the truck if you want. I just decided not to use the truck, so I went ahead and put it to the side. And then just by using some pliers or some wire cutters or whatever those things are, I just went ahead and took off all my staples, and then I'm going to do the same thing to that other sign as well. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and sand down the backs of these, and just to make sure that they're nice and smooth. Again, they're not going to be seen, but I just wanted to sand them down. So then after these pieces are all sanded, I'm going to take my plunger and I'm going to lay it out. And starting with this Hayrides sign, I'm going to put it right at the tippy top and then just lay out all of my arrows. And of course, I purposely laid them out so they are pointing in opposite directions, one on top of the other. And then I'm going to take a marker and I'm just going to kind of mark very small where these went, so when I pick it up to glue it, I know exactly where to glue it back down. And then by using some super glue and hot glue, I'm just going to add it to the post. For this top one, I did do it right to the post. Then you'll see the other ones I did it to the signs themselves. But I am using super glue on this because my plan is to put this outside on my front porch. And of course, it can be a little hot. So, well, at least right now it is. So I don't want the hot glue to melt and then my sign fall apart. So then I just went ahead and continued this, and I'm doing the hot glue for the immediate hold and the super glue for the permanent hold. And you do have to hold it there for a little bit, only because it's round, so you don't want them to slip off to the side. So then I just attached all of my little signs. And I try to get them in the middle of each sign the best I could. I didn't measure or anything. I'm just eyeballing it. So I absolutely, these are the colors I'm going with this season, kind of like that mustard yellow, the dark orange, the dark red, the dark green. So I am just loving it. I am a traditional fall decorator. I love all the traditional colors. So when you watch my fall decorate with me, where I'm going to be incorporating all these DIYs today, you'll definitely see a lot of tradition. So next I just went ahead and turned the whole sign over, and I just put hot glue. I just kind of reinforced it where the post was. Now to glue the post to the stand, I am going to use, again, super glue and hot glue. Now I had some troubles. This did not want to stand. You could go ahead and like drill a screw up from the bottom, but I didn't feel like doing that. So I tried to reinforce it with some hot glue. But now I'm just going to add these blocks, and I'm going to go all the way around. Now, don't worry, these are not going to be seen. So this worked perfectly. So far, so good. It's still standing. It has not fallen over or anything. So I probably should have put some super glue on this too, because I'm really hoping that, you know, the sun doesn't melt, or the heat doesn't melt this from falling off. But here's a little closer look of what I'm doing, and I'm literally just adding these blocks all the way around. And like I said, this worked perfectly. You could use Jenga blocks, whatever you have really, because like I said, this is going to be all covered. So this is what it'll look like. And look, Ma, no hands. So as you can see, it's standing up on its own. Now this next step you could probably skip, but I did go ahead and take that baby wipe with the antique wax again, and I stained these blocks just to have it all blend in with the stand itself. But this ended up being completely covered, so like I said, you could probably skip this step, but it's totally up to you. If you want to stain them, then go ahead. So I just went through and stained them quickly, and then once that was done, I'm going to take Spanish moss, and I'm going to cover this entire stand with Spanish moss. And I'm just using hot glue for this. Now, I did spread it out so it was thin. You don't need it very thick. Like, this is a huge piece, and it was so thick. I really should have spread it out more. But yeah, I mean, I just covered this entire post, including all the blocks, and you can't even see them. So that's why I said it doesn't matter if it looks ugly, on the bottom, because it's getting covered anyways. Now I did think about, you can see a little pumpkin up in the corner there. I did think about hot gluing some pumpkins to the post and everything, but I'm not sure where on my front porch this is going to go. So it might go inside the wagon, so you're not even going to see them. Now, if I choose that I want to add pumpkins, I totally can. So you're going to see in all these DIYs, these are just layering pieces, things that I can add into the decor that I already have. So after a haircut, this is what it looks like. And you'll get a closer look at the end of the video too. So next, we're going to make a book stack. So here are the books that I chose, and I purposely chose these because look, yellow, cream, and then orange. So if you need to back up a little bit and take a screenshot of the books that I picked out at the Dollar Tree to get these colors, go ahead. That's why I kind of left it there. But look how pretty these all look together. But you know me, I just got done saying I'm an antique wax freak. So I am going to go ahead and rustic this up a little bit. And again, I'm just going to use that baby wipe and the Waverly Antique Wax. I started in the middle one because I just wanted to try it first and see if I liked it. But I specifically wanted to go around the pages. Now, I watch a lot of home decor YouTube videos like Decorate With Me for Fall. There's so many creators that I absolutely love, and what I'm catching on to is that they are using a lot of thrifted or vintage books as decor, either as risers or just to add standing up. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make my own, and it just so happened that I found the perfect colors at the Dollar Tree. So that, and just by adding this antique wax, it made it look vintage and old. Now these are going to be this is a very simple book stack because the point of this book stack is to layer. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add on this twine, and you're going to see that I barely even glue it, because if I decide that maybe I want to use these one like individually or use them standing up, then I can do that. And obviously I'm going to have them facing out so the pages are looking out and not the titles of the books. So it's going to be a little different than like an actual book stack because I didn't paint the sides, the binding of it. So I am going to use just a tad bit of hot glue just to tack down the twine. But like I said, this is so simple, and this is just to add into the decor I already have and use it as a display piece basically. And you're gonna see I actually add some pumpkins on top just to show you, give you an example of what I'm talking about. But again, you're gonna have to catch my decorate with me to see how I actually used this. So I just kind of arranged my twine how I liked it. Now I did put this in a straight, you know, stack, but you know, when I go to decorate, I might want to have them like kind of topsy-turvy and, you know, stuff. So that's why I kept this super simple, and that was it to this one. It was so easy. It didn't cost a lot of money. And look, this is just an example. I'm just showing you, just like, okay, look, we could stack pumpkins on it, or, you know, something like that. So it's just to use in my decor that I already have. All right, another super easy one. I have 3 of these frames, and I love these because they look like wood. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these all apart. I'm going to take the plastic off and the inserts, or the backing out and everything. Next, I'm going to take this scrapbook paper that I had in my stash, and it did originally come from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to go ahead and trace the backing out, and I'm going to trace 3 of these because obviously I have 3 frames. And then I'm just going to use my paper cutter to go ahead and cut all of these out, and then this is what I'm going to put inside all of the frames. Now, I don't know that I'm going to be honest, I don't know that I love this paper with the wood frames. You're going to have to let me know down below what you think. I love the concept, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth, and I think it's going to be one of those things that when I go to display them, that will be the, you know, it'll be like a game day decision. But the good thing is I didn't Mod Podge these in or anything, so if I go to display them and I don't like them, I can always run upstairs, grab something else, cut it down, and replace it. So like I said, this is all going to be used for layering and just to add simple little things to the decor I already have, because I have so much. I probably have more fall bins and Halloween bins than I do Christmas bins. Like, put that into perspective. So, I mean, just to let you know. So after all my pieces were cut down, I went ahead and put them in my frames. And then in this DIY, I'm actually going to be using these decals from the Dollar Tree, and I absolutely love these. I love these decals. So I loved these pumpkin spice ones, so I just simply added one decal in each frame, and that was it. That was how simple this DIY was. I know you're probably sitting there going, Ashley, I can't believe you made me sit through all that just to watch you put a decal on, or window cling, I keep calling it decal, but window cling on a frame. But honestly, that's what I said. I have so much already that I just wanted to make quick and easy DIYs to just add to the decor. And obviously, in my mind, this is going to be on my coffee bar, because I do a pumpkin spice latte themed coffee bar. So that's just what I wanted to add to. Now, this one for some reason would not stick, and it does have glitter on it, so I'm not sure if that's why. So I did go ahead and add some Mod Podge to the window cling and then to the frame. And that was it for this DIY. Super simple. All right, for this next one, this one is a little bit more involved, so if you like to really get in there and do some work, this is for you, but I absolutely love how these came out. So I picked up these pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and I purposely got 2 different sizes, and I have 2 sets. So I have 2 of the big ones, 2 of the small ones. Now, for this small one, I got this new home decor chalk paint from Amazon. I can link it down below. I forget what it's called offhand, but like I said, I'll have it linked down below. I saw Crafty Kathy use it, and I'm like, yes, I wanted a mustard color. I didn't want this like bright yellow color. So I went ahead and painted the smaller pumpkin with that, and then the bigger pumpkin I went ahead and painted with a more kind of rusty orange that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it was that Deco Art, and I think that was called Spiced Pumpkin. So that was the first set. Now for the second set, I did the same thing, except I switched them. So for the big one, I painted that in the mustard yellow. And then for the smaller one this time, I painted in the orange. Now here's a little tip for you. dowel that's in there is actually the bottom of a foam brush, and it made it so much easier to go ahead and paint these. Now with all of these, I did give 2 coats except for this one here, only because I did like the red kind of poking through. So, but other than that, everything got 2 coats. Now, I went to dry these, and I knew this was going to happen, but I loved how this looked. You can see how it's bubbling up, and it brought out that texture, and I really loved that. So I just went ahead and did that to all of my pumpkins. I do have it on high heat. I have it held close, and then look at all that texture there. So I thought that was super cool. Next, I'm going to take a little piece of a foam brush, and I'm going to dry brush my Waverly Antique Wax on all of my pumpkins, and at first I went like into all the grooves there, and then I went over in between to bring out that texture that was that bubbly texture. And then after that, I went through and just dry brushed a little bit of that orange on top of the yellow. I put the yellow on top of the orange. So basically this is just kind of like how you like it. Just, you know, get it to how you like it. Now you notice the bottoms aren't really painted. We aren't going to be seeing the bottoms, so I didn't even bother. But I just went ahead and did this to all of my pumpkins, but I thought I'd speed it up for you because, like I said, you just do it to how it makes you, you know, until it makes you happy. And look how cool that one looks. I thought that one looked really cool. So that one I actually put the paint on first, and then the Waverly Antique Wax. And then, yeah, I just kind of played with all of this until I got it to how I liked. So then after all of my pumpkins, look how cool those look. I think those look so much better. All right, so after I got all my pumpkins painted, we are going to stack these. So I'm going to put the smaller one on top of a bigger one, and obviously yellow and orange, yellow and orange. And I'm just using hot glue. So just go ahead and stack them. And then I got these taper candles from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just going to take them out of the package, and I'm just going to push them down, or push one down inside each pumpkin. So what I wanted to do was make really cool candle holders for my dining room table. So that's actually something I do not have. Now this one, for some reason, it just would not stay. The other one was fine. So what I did was just take a knife and just kind of hollow out this hole here. And I'm not going to hot glue these in or anything, because obviously hot glue I feel like would probably melt the wax candle anyways. And I really don't plan on using these. Like, I'm not going to light them. I don't light this kind of candle anyways. Fire kind of scares me, so this is way too open for me. So that's a negative on lighting these. This is just for decoration. So I just went ahead and kind of used my screwdriver and my knife to go ahead and hollow that out, and then it went in perfectly. Look at that. So then, just to kind of complete this and add, you know, just a little bit more texture, I'm just going to go ahead and add Spanish moss around the candle itself, and then in between the 2 pumpkins too. So that was it to these pumpkins. These candle holders. I loved how these came out. It was probably one of my favorites in this whole video. And even though, you know, the painting took a little bit, it was fun to do because it was fun to mix and match all of those colors and everything. So yeah, and that was it to this. Now I went a little thinner with the Spanish moss. I didn't want it to be like so much Spanish moss, because obviously I want you to be able to see the pumpkin. Now you can absolutely get creative with this. You can add leaves, you can add a bow, you can add acorns, pine cones, anything you want. But for the idea that I have in my head, I wanted these to be simple, or like this, because we're going to be adding like pine cones around it and everything. This is going to be for my centerpiece for my dining room table. So after I had all my Spanish moss on both, that was it. Look how cool those look. I love those. All right, so I don't know about you, but I've been obsessed with these headbands, and they're the ones that have the knots on top. Now, Dollar Tree does sell these, but you can see that they sell them in like pink, purple. I do have that black striped one right there. I just picked up a solid black one from Dollar Tree the other day, but I wear these all the time because, forget it, in the summer my hair is always up. It's never going to be down, especially me being pregnant and just not being able to handle the heat right now. So I thought I would try my hand at making a fall one. So I got this headband from the Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to have to take it apart, and I am going to have to rip that flower off. Now, this headband cost $1.25, and it's only one. I was at Five Below after I made this, and I got a 3-pack for $2.25, which is actually a better deal. So you might be able to find better deals, especially if you're just going to cover them and make your own headbands. You might just want to like kind of go elsewhere. I hate to say that, I'm loyal to the Dollar Tree, but just kind of look around. You might be able to get them cheaper. So now I took this fabric from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to fold a little piece over. I don't know, I didn't measure this, but you could see that headband was very thin, so I don't need a very thick piece. So I'm just folding it over and hot gluing it. And I would have honestly ironed this. It would have made it so much easier, but I didn't have my mini iron. I believe it's probably still at my mom's house. And we don't usually iron like clothes, so I have no idea where the regular iron is. But honestly, it's fine. It really doesn't make a difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue just the edge in. And then I'm going to go like an inch over, maybe an inch. And I'm going to cut the fabric. And then I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to hot glue that one over the piece that I already hot glued. So you can see I'm layering it there. And I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that all down. Then I did decide I had a little bit too much fabric, and you can see it's flapping up. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim it down. And again, I don't need a lot, but yours is really going to have to be based on the thickness or how wide your headband is. So after my piece was all cut down, you're going to fold it in half, and then you're just going to simply tie it in a knot. Now you want to make sure that your knot is in the middle. Mine ended up being a little bit to the side. You can't really tell, but you can also turn it on your head so it doesn't look like it. And then you want to twist your pieces so the seam is underneath like the flat part of the knot. So the knot part is going to be on the top, and then the seam needs to be on the bottom. So once you have it all twisted, you're going to take your headband and you're going to just loop it through the knot, and then you're just going to simply hot glue the fabric going all the way down your headband. So first I'm going to do this side, and then you're going to see I'm going to do the other side. Don't worry about the ends. We're going to fix that in a minute. So just make sure, like I said, that your seams are underneath, like the part being glued to the headband. You don't want to see the seams. And yeah, just go all the way down. So it's funny because I have YouTube on right now, and I'm not really watching it, but in the background, and one of the creators is actually wearing a top knot headband. So they're very popular. I would definitely, make some, and you better believe that I'm definitely going to make some. I'm going to make like Halloween ones and Christmas ones. I might make even a couple for each holiday because I am wearing these all the time. They even look cute with your hair down. All right, so once you have the top hot glued, you're going to flip it under, and you're just going to simply hot glue the ends in on top of each other. Now, you want to make sure to pull it taut. That way, it kind of takes the shape of your headband. And it might be easier with a wider headband, but this is just all, I could really find at the Dollar Tree. And then if I need to, tack down some areas, I will. So, and again, don't worry about the ends. We're going to deal with that in a second. So again, I'm going to show you, you're just going to put some hot glue in the middle, and then you're just going to flip that over. So I know this is kind of out of the ordinary for me, like making something like this, but like I said, I've been obsessed. And I've been wanting to do this for a while because, I looked on Amazon, and the seasonal ones are kind of expensive. So, for just a couple bucks, I could make my own really, and make it to how I want it to look. So yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this side finished, and then you can see that I have to tack down some of the fabric, which is perfectly fine. And I'm just going to make it nice and tight. Now watch your fingers too, because it can burn you. I burnt myself. I actually made 2 of these, and I burnt myself on the first one. So I'm just going to go through and hot glue where I see it's necessary. So now we're going to tack those ends, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut off the bottom right where the bottom of your headband is. So I'm going to cut it right at the end. Okay, so to make the ends look pretty, I just picked out some coordinating ribbon that I had in my stash, and I'm going to cut off 2 pieces. And I'm going to hot glue them like a T, like a capital T. So I'm going to do one going up and down and one going across, and you want to make sure that the tops of both are even. And then you're going to hot glue your little piece of ribbon to the bottom of your headband, the same width as the across ribbon. I hope that makes sense. Then you're going to fold it underneath, cut it down so it's all the same length. Hot glue that on, and now the bottom is covered. And then you're going to take one end and you're going to hot glue that on, and then I cut down the other side so it all lands in the back. Then you're just going to simply hot glue that. I hope that all made sense. Hopefully from watching it was easier, but that's it. And I love how this came out. Perfect for kids, perfect for adults, and perfect for fall. I can't wait to wear it to like pumpkin patches and stuff. So I love this. All right, so that completed our final DIY, and now it's time for the final look. What do you think? I am absolutely loving how all of these DIYs came out today, and even though some of these are even just the most simplest things to put together, they are going to add that pop, that elevation, and just that detail to the decor that I already have. So I cannot wait to display all of these pieces. You're definitely going to have to catch my decorate with me as I get my home ready for fall. And this is the first time I get to decorate this house for fall because we just moved in December. So you know I cannot wait. I am itching to get started, but I did want to make just a few pieces just to throw in my decor and kind of bring in the colors that I am using this year, like the copper and the dark brown, the burnt orange, the mustard. Let me know down below what colors you usually decorate with for fall. Have you started decorating yet? I know it's just a tad bit early, but honestly, I cannot wait. I am about to have my husband go get all my bins from the basement and just start going through them. So I am so excited. Also, I'd love to know which one of these DIYs was your favorite from today's video. I honestly, I can't pick a favorite. I really do love them all. I am going to start off with this sign that I actually obviously had from Easter, and 2 packs of those little pumpkins. And you can use any sign really. I just like this because it had the little border around it. Now I took out the hanger and I'm going to go ahead and fill in those holes with my spackle. Now I'm just going to tell you, this was a project and a half. Like, just, I don't know if you can tell, but there's raised pieces in the middle of that frame. And just getting it out was work. So if I were to do this again, I would have done it with a canvas board and done like a reverse canvas thing. But I still love how it turned out, so hang in there with me so you can see the final product. So for the border around, I just went ahead and took a baby wipe, dipped it in some Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to faux stain that frame around the middle. Now, This is where I say patience is a virtue. I went ahead and heated up the glue. Now this popped off easy peasy, no problem. I just scraped it right off. But then you can see that there's like a bottom layer. So this is what kind of took some time. So just kind of hang in there. I got it to be as flat as possible, and then I kind of sanded the rest, which, you know, if you have a really good sander, you probably could just use that instead of doing all this. But like I said, I just did the best I could. I didn't kill myself over it. I just got it to where it would be smooth, and then that way I can paint over it, and, you know, just so you couldn't tell. So like I said, I did go ahead and sand it so it was smooth. Next, I'm going to take my ivory chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside of my frame. While that's drying, I'm going to take these little pumpkins, and they do have clothespins on the back. Now, my intention was to remove the entire clothespin, but after doing all that work on that frame, I was not here for it. I was done. So all I did was just take that front part of the clothespin off and this little metal part, and I did this to 9 pumpkins. Then I went ahead and put them on a piece of painter's tape to help me hold them down. And I painted 3 of them with my spiced pumpkin paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I think it's either Americana or Home Decor. I can't remember off the top of my head. Then 3 with my vintage mustard paint. And then I used my copper paint. So that vintage mustard, I can link in the description box below. I got it off of Amazon. The other 2 colors I actually got at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to go through and paint 3 in each color. Then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and dry brush some of that copper on the orange. And then I did go ahead and dry brush some of that copper on the yellow. I didn't love how it looked. In fact, you're going to see that I only do 2 and I didn't do the 3rd. I do go back and do the 3rd because by that time, you know, the damage had been done. So I do end up doing it. But I just didn't love the copper. I do something to fix it a little bit. And what I do is I take a little foam brush and I just dry brush some Waverly Antique Wax all over all of the pumpkins except for the copper. So that really helped to, I don't know, kind of camouflage the copper. I like the copper on the orange, but just for some reason, not the yellow. And I think it was because it was too much of a contrast. So, and I didn't want to paint over it because I do like the pumpkin lines that you can see coming through underneath. Now, to really help blend it all together, I sanded each one of these pumpkins. And that I felt like was so, like, just made it so much better. And not only that, but it brought out the natural wood underneath and made it look more rustic, and I absolutely loved the look that gave. So I sanded each one. After that, I took my board, and now I'm just simply going to lay out all of my pumpkins, and of course I'm going to alternate the colors, so no two of the same color are by each other. And then once I have it laid out how I like, I'm just going to simply hot glue these down. Now, because there is a little bit of the clothespin on the back, these are 3D, but which was not my intention. I wanted them to be flat, but hey, you know what? It just added some more character, interest, and I think that it turned out really, really neat. So, I'm just going to go through and hot glue all of these down. Now, to add a stand, I'm just going to take some tumbling tower blocks, and I am just going to hot glue them to the bottom. Now, I did make an oopsie here. I didn't have enough room to go all the way across with 4 tumbling tower blocks, so I did 3 and then like a square block, which is fine. You're not going to see the back. It's not a big deal, especially for in my head where I think I'm going to put this. And I really do love it. It's a great layering piece too. All right, super, super simple. Don't blink because then you'll miss it. When I found these burnt orange coffee mugs from the Dollar Tree, I had to have them because this is the exact orange that I absolutely love. And then I picked up these little glass rub-on transfers. And so all I'm going to do is just rub these on. And this will be, sorry about my head. This will be perfect to put on a tiered tray on my coffee bar or put on my shelves. Now, because this is round, it does help to put some slits in so the whole thing is laying on it. Now, I start off with my fingernail at first, then you're going to see that I have a little piece of a popsicle stick in my hand, and I'm just going to start using that. But I loved the way that these rubbed on. It was so easy, and I just love the colors. Just so simple. I mean, you can put cinnamon sticks in here, you can put packets of sugar, you can put straws, toothpicks, I mean anything. Just I just can't wait to put these on my coffee bar. I think they're going to be so pretty. So I do have another one, and I am going to go ahead and do that one as well. Now, the thing I'm going to tell you is super sticky. You're going to see I messed this one up because I accidentally, got it on there, so then I was committed. So I had to go with wherever it landed, and it was not straight, and it was too high up, but I accidentally hit it on there, and a little piece pulled up, so I kind of had to go with it. But this one came out cute too, and I was thinking these would even just be perfect plain, just to go ahead and throw as a layering piece as well. And that was it to those cups. All right, so I've had these in my stash for a while as well, and this was also an inspiration from, I want to say Kirkland's, but totally an inspiration. Not a dupe, doesn't look like them at all, but I kind of got the idea from a piece from there. But what I'm going to do is, of course, I love the galvanized look, but I wanted to add that rust look. So I'm just taking a foam brush and just dabbing some Waverly Antique Wax all over each of these little bottle cap signs. That's just what I'm going to call them. I don't know what they're actually for or called. So I'm going to do that to both. And, you know, and I just did this just to add that rusty look. If you don't like that look, then you can skip that step for sure. All right, so then I'm going to take those decals again, and I'm just going to kind of create a little scene by using those decals. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the mushroom. I really loved the vibrant colors of this one window cling sheet. Again, I keep calling them decals, but I know they're window clings. So I'm just going to kind of arrange them how I like. I really love how these turned out. I just thought it was super cute. So for the second one, I went with this cute little pumpkin spice latte window cling, and then I just added some glittery leaves around it. Now, I am just placing these on here just to see how it looks, and then I will take these off and use Mod Podge. But I wanted to lay all my pieces out first so I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like. Okay, so once I have it all laid out, like I said, just went ahead and applied Mod Podge. Now you want to make sure to apply the Mod Podge to the window cling itself, because if you put it on the actual piece, then you're going to have like a sheen to it, or at least I don't think this is matte Mod Podge that I'm using, so it would be shiny, and I just thought it was easier just to do it. And you could put a coat of Mod Podge over everything too. I didn't. It seemed to work out perfectly fine. So then I just went through one more time, and I just kind of wanted to add more Waverly Antique Wax to like around the edges, and just to make it pop a little bit. Now, my daughter wanted to say hi, so hi, Amelia. Now, I did pop in those hangers again. May use them, may just prop these up, not sure, but I absolutely loved how those came out. All right, so next I'm going to take this little pumpkin pie sign that I got from the Dollar Tree, and it did come in a 2-pack with, I think that was cherry pie. It went so fast. I think it was cherry pie. And right now, I'm just going to take off the hanger and the staples, although you could probably skip this step because it really didn't matter. But then I'm going to take this frame, or this picture, I guess, that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I liked it because it was gold, and I just felt like that would fit into my fall decor. So I'm going to go ahead and take this whole frame apart, and I am going to take off the hanger on the back. And you can see that backing, that white backing on one side, that there's words, but on the other side it's pure white. So on the white side, I'm going to actually take my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to go ahead and use that to paint the back. I kind of wanted it to look like wood a little bit. Now, you can use any brown, but this is all I had. A lot of my paint is still at my mom's house, so this is the only brown I had. But I did go ahead. Now, if you saw some white coming through, totally I was okay with that because, again, I wanted it to look like wood. Next, I went ahead and took this white burlap that I had, and I cut it down so it didn't cover the entire thing, but I did make sure that that piece of pie fit in the middle. And I must have pulled this on something because it was like, there was like hot glue and stuff on it. But I cut off 2 pieces so it would cover the middle of this. Now, it doesn't line up perfect because it just didn't have enough. And then I went ahead and pulled some thread or some pieces off to go ahead and fray it. Then I went ahead and lined it up so it's in the middle, and once I knew where I wanted it, I just simply used some hot glue to go ahead and tack it down. Now, of course, be careful, there's holes. Now, when I did this part, I did pull the burlap so it stretched, so it would cover the majority of the frame, and then I just did that with the second piece right underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that part down, and you can see now I got smart and started using that little rubber thing. And then I just went ahead around the edges and tacked it down. Then I just simply took my piece of pie and I hot glued it to the middle of the little burlap pieces. After that, I took the frame and I hot glued this entire thing back in the frame. Then I just felt like it needed a little bit more detail, so I took these thumbtacks and this just simply pushed right in. Now, you do want to be careful because they do poke out the back, but it's like really deep in the back, so unless you put your hand in the frame, I don't think you would touch it because it's just very deep. So I didn't, of course, like the silver with the gold, and it just didn't go. So I just simply took some antique wax, and I'm just going to rub that all over each one of these tacks, and you can see the difference that made. It really darkened them up, made it look rusty and more rustic. So this does not stand up on its own. I tried putting a stand on it. It did not work, so this is just going to have to be like a leaner piece, which is fine. For the next DIY, I'm going to take this round sign that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and sand off all the glitter. Sorry, that went a little fast. Next, I'm going to go ahead and cut off that hanger, and then by using my Ivory Waverly chalk paint, I'm just going to simply paint around the edge of this sign going all the way around. Once that was dry, I'm actually going to take this roll of peel and stick wallpaper. You can see that I use it on my table and it was left over. So I'm just going to go ahead and just place the sign on the back, and I'm just going to cut around it. Now, it's just a rough cut. I'm not trying to get very, close to the edges or anything. I'm just kind of going around in the basic shape. And then I'm simply just going to peel and stick it on the top of my sign. Now, you can see that image somewhat through, but honestly, after this is all done, you really won't be able to see it, unless you're super, super, super close. So if you want, you can paint the front of that white so it doesn't show through, but like I said, we're going to decorate this, so it really didn't matter to me. Once it was stuck on there, then that's when I went around and kind of cut a little closer to the edge. But to give it that nice clean cut, I am going to go through with my sandpaper, and I'm going to sand in the down direction and just make sure I get that nice clean edge. This is your friendly reminder that if you love what you see so far, don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. Not only does it really help my channel to grow and it spreads it around Facebook so others can see, but it tells YouTube that it's content you want to see, and they'll put more of my videos in front of you so you'll never miss a thing. So smash that like button. Next, I'm going to take this window cling from the sheet, and I absolutely love the colors in this. And look how amazing this big window cling, the circle one, looks on that shiplap paper. I absolutely love that. So to adhere it, I'm just going to go ahead and take Mod Podge and apply the Mod Podge directly to the window cling itself, and then I'm just going to place it in the middle of my round. Now you do want to do a thin coat because I realized that I kind of put a lot on there at first and I kind of squeegeed it out, which you'll see in a little bit. But definitely make sure to pay attention to the edges as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it right in the middle, and then I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to first I'm going to take this little thing and I'm going to flatten it all out, make sure there's no bubbles. And then I'm going to take my Mod Podge and go over all of the edges. Now for this, I actually brushed out, like in the out direction, and that way the Mod Podge didn't like go like into the window cling, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to make sure that it was completely adhered down. And then I went ahead and let that dry. And that's where I said there was like a lot, and I went ahead and squeegeed it out kind of. Now it does look like that there's bubbles, but really up close there really is not, or at least they're not noticeable. So I really wanted to add just some more dimension and texture to the sign. So I went ahead and took that foam brush with my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just dabbing it all around the edges. I was totally okay with that because, again, it just adds to that rustic, rusty look. And I am loving the way that this turned out. Now, you can go a couple ways with this. You can put this into a wreath. You can just put a hanger on it and hang it on a door. But actually, what I decided to do was put some little feet on it and make it like a little tray. So I have these brown blocks from that game teaser game at Dollar Tree, brain teaser game from Dollar Tree. So I got 6, I believe, and I'm just laying them out right now, and then I'm going to go through and I'm just going to simply use hot glue to hot glue all of these down. Now I did make sure that these were close to the edge, and then there are holes on some of them, so I just made sure that they were either going to be on the bottom or it was the part that I glued, so that way they weren't on the sides, if that makes sense. So once these were all glued down, then I had this cute little tray, and I think it's so cute. I love the colors. I actually might give this one to my sister. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided, but look how pretty this is. I just love it. All right, this next DIY is super simple, and it's going to look so plain to you, but that's why you have to catch my decorate with me to see how I use it, because I already know where it's going. So I'm going to start off with this square sign, and of course this is from Valentine's Day, but you can get any square sign. And then it doesn't even have to be square, just use what you have or use what you like. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and take the ribbon off the back and then pull all the staples out. Then by using my heat tool and my little scraper knife thing, I'm going to take off the tag in the middle. So I'm actually going to use this side, and because as you saw, I tried to get off all the paper on the other side. That wasn't happening. Ain't no one got time to sit there and try to do that. So I was just not here for it. So then I'm going to go ahead and sand off the glue residue and get this ready to paint. So I'm going to use painter's tape because I want just one square in the middle. So I am lining this up to the edge of the sign all the way from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to do this going all the way around just to create that, like I said, that square in the middle. Once all my tape was around the perimeter, I'm just going to take this black paint and I'm just going to paint the middle. I wanted this to kind of look like a chalkboard, and so that's just what I'm gonna do. And you don't have to put, at least I didn't put 2 coats. I got away with just using 1 because I felt like that was dark enough. After my paint dried, here's the satisfying part. I'm going to go ahead and pull up all of my tape. However, I'm going to put it to the side because I am going to use it again in just a second. So, because then we're going to paint the outside around the square. So what I'm going to do is the tape that I just used, now I'm going to put it on the inside edge of the black square. I do have to cut it down because, of course, I don't want to cover the outside frame, I guess, of this. So I'm just going to go through and, you know, make sure that it's all pushed down and it's all lined up and it's all even, and get the frame around this, or perimeter, ready to paint. Then by using my Waverly Antique Wax, I'm just going to take a foam brush and I'm just going to paint it on. I'm not going to wipe it off or anything. I wanted this to kind of mimic wood, so that's what I decided to do. And I did go around the edges as well. And then once that dried, it was time to go ahead and pull off the painter's tape. And again, it's so satisfying. I did use my heat gun to, or my heat gun to go ahead and dry. Now, if there were some like little pieces that I missed, or spots that I missed, I just went ahead and touched it up. Now, I hate my handwriting on crafts. I hate it, but I wanted this to look homemade. So I took my chalk marker from the Dollar Tree and I just wrote pumpkins for sale, $1. And you can see that I started in the middle when I wrote pumpkins. That way I had all of it lined up. So I actually was okay with how it turned out. Normally I hate it, but I thought it looked cute. So next I'm going to take this sign that I got from the Dollar Tree last year at Christmas time, and I just need the post from it. So I heated up the glue at the bottom, and then as you can see, I'm using the scissors to kind of wedge it off there. It did kind of break a little bit, but it doesn't matter because I'm about to glue this on this sign. So I'm just going to use hot glue. Now I should have put super glue. I might go back and do it because in my mind this is going to go on my front porch. So I might, go back and do it so it doesn't fall off. But I put a ton of hot glue on this, and then as you can see, I'm pushing it down, applying a lot of pressure. Then I'm going to flip it over and go around the edges of this little post too. It was not laying flush, and I think that's because when I pried it off, it bent backwards. So I had to put a ton of hot glue. And then I held it there for quite some time until it set up. Then I wanted the perimeter, the brown, to look more like wood, so I just sanded it down so that MDF board kind of came through, just to add another layer of color basically and some dimension. Then after that, this little sign was done. It doesn't look like much, like I said, but I promise you it'll all come together. That's why you have to catch my decorate with me. So make sure your notifications are on. That's coming up soon. This last DIY's got to be one of my favorites. I'm going to start off with one of these pumpkins from this football sign, but any pumpkin will do. And then I'm going to use this wall tile from the Dollar Tree. And all I'm going to do is simply stick the wall tile in the middle of the pumpkin. That way you can see most of the design. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut around it. Now I left this part in because I wanted you to see that it was kind of difficult to get around all those bumps and the stem at the top with those scissors. We are going to fix that, but I just wanted you to see. So now to go ahead and fix our little problem of the sheet that wouldn't cut, I'm going to go ahead and take my sandpaper and I'm just going to sand it off, and that's going to give you that nice clean edge, and that took care of most of the paper that was on there. Then I'm going to take my little foam brush again with my antique wax, and I'm going to go around the edge because you could clearly tell that was cardboard. So I'm just kind of faux staining the cardboard in a way, or painting it. So I did that all the way around. Then I'm going to take this leather piece, and these are new this year. I absolutely love these. I'm really into the faux leather and the copper, so this just is perfect. So I'm just going to take the pumpkin off of there, and I'm going to hot glue that in the middle of the bigger pumpkin. And then I'm going to take this twine bow that I had already made from something else and I never used it. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that onto the top of the leather pumpkin. And I am going to make this stand by adding some tumbling tower blocks. Now, these were already painted brown from something else, so I just reused them. And then I did just go ahead and hit the back of it with some antique wax, because you can see the one was painted and one's not. And that was it. That was how easy this one was, and I absolutely love it. All right, so next up, here is one final look of all of my DIYs. What do you think? I am absolutely loving how each one of these came out, and I already have kind of a vision in my head of where I'm going to place them in my home when I decorate for fall. For the first DIY, we are diving into a really fun craft. I really had a lot of fun making this one. I'm going to start off with these two mirrors that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm sorry the light is like right in the mirror. I will be moving it in a second. But I really wanted to give it like that foggy, broken glass look, I guess, like just a creepy look. So what I did was took a kitchen sponge and dabbed it in some black paint. And now I'm just going to dab it all out in the inside of this mirror. And then I'm going to go in with my metallic paint and I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to repeat this on the other mirror as well. And I'm going to cover the insides so that way it gives it that spooky effect. Next, I'm going to take the steel Waverly chalk paint and just a regular paintbrush, and I'm just going to kind of dry brush around the edges, again, just giving it that creepy, spooky effect. And I'm going to do this for both. Now, one thing about all these DIYs today is that they are so quick and easy and fun to do. This one and the last one are probably the most work per se or time consuming, but they are so easy. So just hang with me because I think you're really going to love how all of these turned out. So once my mirrors were done, I put those off to the side, and then I grabbed this hand from the Dollar Tree, and I actually grabbed two. Now we're going to need to cut these down a little bit, so what I did was kind of measure how short I want it, and then by using just this box cutter, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it down. Now, the trick to easily cut this is to, instead of trying to cut the whole wrist at once, you want to cut like the first layer of the tube. I don't, if that makes sense. You'll see in a minute, but you want to cut through that first little layer, and then once you get that cut, it's easy to go ahead and either break it off or just use your scissors and cut it off. Now the end, of course, is very jagged, so I went ahead and sanded it down so that way it was nice and smooth and cut it up. And then I did the same thing for the other one, and I used that first one to go ahead and measure out the second one. So again, I'm just cutting through just that first layer of the hand or of the plastic, and then it was so simple for me to just go ahead and cut it down. Now, these hands are flat, and I kind of wanted them to look like the fingers were bent, so I'm simply just going at the knuckle part and just bending all the fingers up. Now, I did try hot gluing them up, but it didn't work, so I just kind of stuck with just bending them as much as I can, and that seemed to work. So next, I'm going to use my ivory chalk paint, and I'm going to go ahead and give each of these hands 2 coats of that. I would have used my white, but unfortunately, because I haven't been DIYing a lot, my white Waverly chalk paint dried all up. I'm so sad about it. So I'm going to have to get more. Now, at this point, after I put the first coat on, I did decide that the hand was still a little long. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off even more. And then I will kind of touch it up because as you can see, it's scraping off some of the paint. And then I'm going to proceed to give each one of these hands 2 coats. So, and then I just did this to both. Real quick, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to my channel and to introduce myself. Like I said, my name's Ashley. I am a mama of a 5-year-old and in a few weeks, a newborn. So when I say that I'll be doing my Decorate with me's, that is if baby doesn't come first. That is my goal. So definitely, like I said, subscribe to kind of join the channel, and then you'll get updates and notifications on any videos that I put up. If I sound like I'm winded or out of breath, it's because I am. I am 36 weeks and like I said, due any day now, so I'm just trying to do my best. But I want to thank you for joining me, and if you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I truly hope you enjoy what you see. All right, so I just felt like this needed to be a little sturdier, so I'm just using a craft stick here, and I just measured it down to the bottom of the hand. And of course I'm going to cut 2, and then I'm going to just paint each one of these in black paint. Any black paint will do. And then I will hot glue the hands onto these little sticks. But first I actually wanted to add some detail to the hands. So I decided to take the sponge, and as you can see, I'm just kind of dabbing around the hand. Now it went on kind of heavier than I liked. And so you're going to see that I actually get to cut off another piece of sponge and dip it in the ivory paint and go over it, and it kind of dulls down the black, which I really loved. So I started off with a paintbrush and it was covering up too much of the black. So this is when I said I'm going to go in and use my sponge and just go ahead and dab, dab, dab all over the hand. I thought that adding the black paint really added to, you know, the creepy, spooky effect. And if creepy, spooky is not your taste, then you do not have to make it creepy, spooky. You can make it cute. I think that mine is kind of spooky cute. So these are cute. They're not gory. They're not bloody. You're not really going to see that in my DIYs. You know, I do have a 5-year-old. So, and even though she's obsessed with like Chucky and Annabelle and Pennywise, even though she's never seen any of those movies, she just knows who they are. I just didn't want the gore and stuff. So, I don't know. I guess my taste is kind of spooky cute. Let me know down in the comments what your taste is. So, like I said, then I went ahead and just hot glued each hand onto one of the little sticks that I cut down, and I'm putting just a fair amount of hot glue on the bottom, and then I go around the hand once it's on the stick to give it even more extra support. Now I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue. For this next step, I would definitely recommend using super glue, because when I went to take pictures, the hand actually fell off. You're going to see we're going to glue it to the mirror, and the hand actually fell off the mirror. So definitely use some super glue and hot glue to do this next step. So all we're going to do is just hot glue super glue and hot glue the hand to the mirror. And what I was showing you on the back was there is a top to the mirror, like where the hanger is. So you just want to make sure that you glue it going the right way. And I didn't exactly glue it in the middle of the mirror. I kind of went up above the middle a little bit, and you're going to see why in just a second. But I am making sure that they are even. And then to cover the black craft stick, I'm going to take some moss, and I'm just going to put a little bit around each hand, the bottom of the hand. And I really liked this because it really did make it look like the hand was breaking through the mirror. So it gave it like even more of a creepier effect. I just think that using moss in Halloween decor just ups your game in the spooky factor. Next, I'm going to put those off to the side and grab these 2 lanterns that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. And when I held them up to the mirror, they kind of blended in. So what I'm going to do is actually take a sponge and dip it in that steel Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab all over each one of these lanterns, all four sides and including the top and the bottom. And I kind of went in with some white too. Now, at first I went in kind of light, but then I realized that I really wanted it to pop, so I got a little bit more heavy-handed. So I really loved the effect that this gave too. I feel like doing this effect really adds to the spookiness as well. All right, so then that completes this first DIY, and the point is to hang the lantern from the hand and hang the hand from your wall, and you're going to see this displayed at the end in the final reveal. All right, this next one is so easy. Don't blink, you might miss it. I picked up this bucket from the Dollar Tree and this cup. Now, I took the lid off the cup, but keep that handy because we are going to use it. And I loved this little skull. This is the silver one. They have like black ones as well. So now I just cut down a piece of popsicle stick to just give it a little bit more hold there, something to hold, to glue on. Then I glued that on top of this little skull. Now I'm going to just use the lid from the bucket, and I'm going to flip it in the middle, flip it upside down, and I'm going to make this into a little riser. Now for this, I am just using hot glue. Seems to be holding up okay. You can use super glue if you want, but this did the trick to me, or for me. So next, again, I'm going to go in with that sponge and that steel Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and just spook it up a little bit by dabbing around the edges of the tray. And I'm just going to go all the way around. I didn't really do the top because you figure things are going to be probably on the top. I mean, you can definitely if you want to, but I just went around the entire perimeter of the lid. Then I decided that the skull was actually a little too shiny because you can see the lid is kind of a dull black. So I just took that sponge, dipped it in some black paint, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab all over the skull. And this is really going to dull down the shininess, plus again, add that spooky effect. And I really love how this turned out. How easy was that? I mean, seriously, that was so easy. It took me like 3 minutes to put together, not even, and creates a cute little skeleton riser. All right, we're going to make another one, but on a smaller scale. So I picked this up from the Dollar Tree as well, and this is glass and, well, or porcelain or something. I don't know. It's breakable. And then I picked up this mirror from the Dollar Tree too. And I'm going to do the same thing by just using some hot glue. I'm going to hot glue this mirror on top of this skull. Now they did have white skulls there as well. And I think maybe a plain black. You can see that one is, what is the word I'm looking for? It has like all the different colors. I know it. I forget. But I just went ahead and hot glued the two together. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the first DIY, and I'm going to dab my black paint all over the mirror. Again, I'm sorry, this is right in the light. I didn't realize that when I was recording. I know it's kind of blinding right now, but hopefully me painting over it kind of dulls it down. But I did just kind of combine black paint, silver paint, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab. And then I did paint the edges of the mirror in black. And then that was it to this one. That one was super, super easy. How cute is that? Cute candle holder. All right, for this next DIY, this one's super easy as well. You're going to want to take a piece of plastic or wax paper or parchment paper and lay it down, and then you're just going to want to put a huge glob of hot glue on your surface, whatever you're using, wax paper, plastic. This is plastic. This is actually the cover of one of my cutting mats from my Cricut, and it's an old one, so I just had it lying around. But as you can see, I'm just kind of doing like a big glob of hot glue, and I'm filling it in. So last year I made an apothecary display, and I plan to do the same thing on my hutch this year in my dining room. So I thought I'd make this DIY to go along with it. I do plan on making some other little DIYs to go on the apothecary, but I don't know. I'm going to have to see how I feel and see what happens in the next couple weeks. But I just thought that this would be fun, and I think that once it's displayed in the apothecary, it's going to look super cool. But there, as you can see, I just have a big glob of hot glue. Next, I found this bottle at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the sticker at the bottom. For some reason, I didn't remove it all at once. I will go back and do that in a minute, but what I wanted to do was to paint the inside. Now, this you could probably skip because I ended up going through and painting just the entire thing, which you'll see in a sec. But this is Mod Podge right here, and I'm kind of just putting it around the inside of my bottle the best I can. I mean, you're not going to get it completely covered, and mine was kind of drying up, so that's why I had to go in with a paintbrush and not just pour it in there. But now, once I feel like I have enough, I'm going to take this lime green acrylic paint, and I'm just going to pour a bunch in there. Then I'm going to take that same paintbrush, and I'm going to put it in my bottle and just kind of mix it around and put it on, basically paint it on the sides. So the reason I used the Mod Podge was so it kind of acted like well, it is a glue, but so it would glue the paint, I guess, to the sides, and that way you don't have to fill your entire bottle with paint and waste all that paint. So I'm kind of just testing it here, and I'm, just kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to do the best I can. As you can see, it's kind of messy, so I'm going to bring back my plastic. And then I just decided to let it sit upside down for a little bit to really let that paint flow through the bottle. Now, by this time, my glue blob, whatever, is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that with this lime green paint as well. And I did end up giving it a few coats. I just, used what was pouring out of my bottle, which you'll see in just a second. But I did want both of these items to be lime green. So there you go. So that's what poured out. And it has some Mod Podge on it, I'm thinking, too. So that'll help to stick to the hot glue as well. So this is when I kind of decided, you know what, I think I'm just going to go ahead and paint the entire outside of the bottle because I think it's going to look like it's full of potion. So you're going to see that I just go through right now and just kind of just paint it, basically. You don't have to get full coverage because this is going to look like that this potion spilled out. So it's okay if you don't get full coverage, because if a bottle spilled, then the bottle wouldn't be full anyways. So this is when I was like, okay, Ashley, enough playing around with this sticker. Let's just get it off. At first I painted over it, and I'm like, oh shoot, you will be able to see it because it's going to be laying down, not standing up. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel off the sticker, and then I'm going to continue to paint the rest of the bottle. I'm showing you this so you can see how I got the sticker off, because sometimes those are a pain to get off. This is your friendly reminder that if you love what you see so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Not only does it really help my channel to grow, but it tells YouTube you love what you see and you want to see more. So YouTube would put more of my content in your homepage. So smash that like button. So next I wanted to give this more of a spooky look. So like I said, I'm just going to take my sponge, dip it in that black paint, and I'm just going to dab all the way the outside of the potion bottle. And you can see that by doing this, it really brings out that texture of the bottle. So I think it kind of looks like scales or something, like dinosaur scales or monster scales or whatever you want to call it. But I liked the little spooky effect that added. So now all there is to do is, once your glob is completely dry from the paint, you're just going to peel it up. And then it just so happened that that pointy part on the right fit perfectly into the potion bottle. Now I did use some hot glue to go ahead and hot glue the glue glob down on the bottle. It kind of worked, so you can go ahead and do that. But basically, I know just to keep these two together, and when I go to display it in my apothecary, then this is how I'm going to lay it out. And doesn't that look like the bottle seriously spilled over? I love that. All right, so these next few items I'm going to show you. I picked up this cone set from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to go ahead and cut them apart. We're going to use one for this next DIY. And then I picked up this set of burner covers from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to take one of the cones and both of these covers out, and I'm going to spray paint them with my black spray paint. And then I will bring them back in, and we're going to use all three of these items. But for this first one, we're going to take the bigger burner cover and the cone. And then this is where I have my super glue. I picked this up from Dollar General, but Dollar Tree has it too. So I'm going to use my super glue and hot glue to go ahead and glue this cone in the middle of the burner cover. And again, I'm using the hot glue as well. I thought it would be really fun. Of course, you can't have Halloween without candy. So I thought it'd be fun to make a cute little candy dish that looked like a witch hat. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that in the middle. And then I'm going to take this ribbon that I picked up from Hobby Lobby a few years ago, and I'm going to hot glue that around the bottom. Now, because this is a cone, it did not lay perfectly round, I guess you want to say. So it did kind of like pucker up a little bit. So I did have to go through and kind of hot glue the top down, and it still did not lay perfectly. But you know what? It's okay, because by the time you put the candy in this, you can't even really see the ribbon. So you could even skip this if you wanted to. I mean, do you do you, boo. Do whatever you like. It was just, as you can see, it's not going around. Now this fell off because I did not give this time to dry, the super glue. So you might want to let it set for a while. I just didn't have that kind of time. I was just trying to pump these out. I love this candy corn ribbon, and hello, how perfect for a candy dish, right? Candy corn. So now I'm just kind of trimming it up a little bit. I'm going to hot glue the ends down. Then, like I said, I had to go through and kind of hot glue the tops. And I tried to take some twine and cover up like the top of it, but honestly, it didn't work. So I just thought, you know what, less is more, and I'm just going to keep it the way it is. So I did feel like I wanted to add some accessories to this. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these bats from the Dollar Tree, and it did have a clip on the back. So I did have to take it off, and I'm going to hot glue that onto one side of my witch hat where the two ends of the ribbon came together. And then I have this spider that I'm going to go ahead and hot glue towards the top. That way, no matter how you look at this, there's something on all sides. So it's kind of like a round piece. So, and then that's all I wanted to add to this, because like I said, once you add the candy, it makes the whole thing, which you'll see at the end. All right, for my last DIY, this one is probably one of my favorites. So this is the smaller burner cover that I went ahead and spray painted with black paint. And I'm just going to take this moss, and the amount of moss I had left in my bag was the perfect amount. So I'm going to go ahead and take this basket, wire basket, of course, from the Dollar Tree, and it's already black. And once I stuck it, it was a perfect fit. I mean, look at that. I could pick it up from the basket, and the burner cover was stuck on there. So now I'm going to take that lid from the skeleton cup. Remember, I said to keep it by because we are going to use it. I'm going to hot glue it to the top of this basket. We're going to make kind of like a cage, like a bird cage. So I just use hot glue, and then as you can see, I flipped it under, and I'm adding hot glue to reinforce it as well. And now I needed to go ahead and age this. So I dipped my sponge in my silver, or that steel Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to dab over it. It didn't add a lot, so you're going to see, I think I kept the footage in there where I just actually took a paintbrush and I just literally painted over it. But I did make sure to get the top. Then I also am going to use this chain, but the problem is that I really had no place to put it. Like, it just wasn't going to lay right. So I took a zip tie, and I'm going to feed it through the top and then pull it through the underneath. And you want to make sure, obviously, it goes through some of the wires so it has something to attach to. And now when I pulled it all the way down, it came through. So you just want to make sure that your loop is up through the hole. I hope this is all making sense. And then you're going to tighten it. So I didn't obviously like the clear color. They do have black ones, I just don't have any. So I just painted it black, easy peasy. So that way it all matched. Now once that dried, now I can go ahead and loop it through the chain. And now I'm going to, okay, so I looped it through. Now I'm going to pull the zip tie so that it's tight, and now I'm going to tighten it from the bottom. Now I did take some hot glue and hot glue the bottom of that first little chain link to the bottle cap, to the cap, so that way it gave it even more reinforcement. So that really seemed to help. I feel like if I hung this, it would stay on. So now I'm going to take this bird thing that I also got from the Dollar Tree, and it was a little too tall. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the feet, and like right where the knee, I guess, would be. And then the tail was kind of long as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down too. Now, typically I paint these because I don't like this color, but if I would have painted this black or something, it would have blended too much in. So I kept this the way it was because I wanted it to stick out. Now, the only thing I did do was take some black paint and I painted the inside of his eyes, which I thought looked really cool. So now I'm just kind of playing with it and kind of seeing how I want to arrange it. And I did want the wings to kind of be spread out like that. So I just hot glued it in places where that was going to, you know, make it look like the wings were spread out. And then this is where I painted the inside of his eyes. And doesn't that right there just added so much, I feel like. I was going to go through and kind of dry brush some black over it. And I'm like, I'm good. So then I just arranged him and put him back into the cage, and that was it. And that's how that bird cage came out. So now that all my DIYs are complete, it's time for the final reveal. What do you think? I love how all of these came out today. I think, like I said, they're kind of spooky cute. They're kind of creepy, but not gory, if that makes sense. So I just love them. You're going to have to let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite, or if you're going to be recreating of these. Do you do Halloween DIYs? Do you decorate for Halloween? Halloween is definitely a favorite in our house, and that's why it's my goal to try to get this house decorated before baby girl comes in the middle of October, because I know my 5-year-old absolutely loves all things Halloween. We all do. Hence an October baby. We may have planned that. So, like I said, let me know down in the comments what you thought of all of these today. I don't think I have a favorite. I think I love them all equally, and they were so easy to do. Took minutes to put together, and really they're going to elevate your Halloween decor and decorations in your home. This first DIY is probably my favorite. We're going to start off with these 1-gallon paint sticks, and I'm going to take one of them and give it a good coat of Waverly chalk paint in white. Then I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to take these 3 signs from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start off by taking the legs off the back of all 3, and then I'm going to give each one of these at least 3 coats of white Waverly chalk paint, and that seemed to be how much I needed to cover the wording on the front. After those were dry, I took one of the arrows and I'm going to give it 2 coats of red apple barrel paint. I'm not sure of the exact name of the paint, but you could just do any of it, or any red. Next, I'm going to take another arrow and I'm going to give it 2 coats of Scallion from Waverly. And I found that this is the perfect color for the Grinch. Look at that color. It's perfect for the Grinch. Next, I'm going to go back to my paint stick and I'm going to take some painter's tape, and starting at the top, I'm going to section it off, and I am putting the tape at an angle. We're going to make like a candy cane stripe kind of design on this. So you can see that I'm also using a spacer piece of tape, and I'm just going to go all the way down until I have it all sectioned off. So once it's all taped down, I'm going to take that red paint again and give the white sections 2 coats of that red paint. And I did make sure to paint the sides of the paint stick as well. All right, next I'm going to take a small piece of foam board and I'm going to trace this bucket. Now you can use a round wood piece or anything for this next step. I just didn't have it, so I kind of just had to make my own. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I just need a basic circle. So like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out real quick. Then once that's cut out, I'm going to take this gold scrapbook paper, and it actually is peel and stick. I got it in a pack from Target a couple years ago. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my circle on the sticky part of the gold scrapbook paper, and then I'm going to cut around it to go ahead and make a gold circle. Now to get the edges of my circle nice and clean, I am going to go ahead and take my sandpaper and I'm going to sand off the rest of the scrapbook paper. One thing I should have known was not to use a green marker because it actually showed through just a little bit, but that's okay. All right, next, after my paint stick was dry, it's time to go ahead and peel off all of the painter's tape. And I left this in here because, you know, us crafters love to peel off painter's tape because it is oh so satisfying. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the blue tape, and then I'm just going to take a small paintbrush and dip it in some white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to kind of go through and clean up any of maybe the bleed through that happened. Not a lot, I didn't have a lot, but I just wanted to kind of fix a little part of it, or little parts of it that was obvious. And then after that, I'm going to take my gold circle and I'm going to place it at the top, and I did put it where the handle is, and then I'm going to lay out all of my arrows. Now I'm not going to glue down the arrows just yet. I just did it for sizing or for positioning, but I am going to go ahead and glue down my little foam ball at the top, or circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that down. Next, I'm going to use these phrases that I cut from my Cricut. Now, if you don't have a cutting machine, you can use rub-on transfers, you can use stickers, you can use stencils, anything. You can handwrite this. But I did Grinch's lair on one, Whoville on the other, and then I did Mount Crumpet on the third one. So this is not a new idea, but I really wanted to have a directional sign in my bathroom, so I thought that this would be super cute. So after all of my words were on the arrows, I went ahead and laid them back out again. And now I'm going to go ahead and hot glue each one of them down. And I am kind of hot gluing them at an angle, so they're kind of like topsy-turvy, just kind of how you would expect Dr. Seuss to be and Whoville, and they're just kind of at an angle. So next I'm going to take my white puffy paint, and I just felt like I wanted to dress these up a little bit. So first I'm going to start off with the circle, and I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of puffy paint the top of the circle to kind of make it look like snowfall, and I'm going to do some drips around the top as well. And then I'm going to do the same on each one of the arrows. I'm going to just put some puffy paint along the top and kind of down the sides and the corners as well, which you'll see here in a second. But I really, really loved the touch that this added. I just thought that this made it look complete. And then after that, this sign is done. Now, I should have put a hanger on before I did this part, but so I had to wait for this to completely dry. And I just took a piece of twine and just hot glued it to the back of the ball so that way I can actually hang this on the wall. I was going to do a standing sign, but I really have no room for it in my bathroom, so I'm going to go ahead and hang this on the wall. I did also add some snow to the bottom. And that was it. Like I said, this is my favorite, and I love how it came out. All right, this next one is so easy. I got this green soap from the Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to go ahead and peel off the sticker. Next, I'm going to take the sheet of decals that I got from Walmart this year, and I'm going to use Cindy Lou Who. My daughter loves Cindy Lou Who and Max. So I wanted to use a lot of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and simply put her decal on the front. And then I'm going to dress it up a little bit with some snowflakes. And that is how easy this one is. And now I have Grinch-themed soap for my bathroom. Look how cute this soap is. I love it. All right, next up, I got this crate from the dollar section at Target, and it was at $5. This one is super easy too. I used my Cricut to cut out the word stink, stank, stunk. And if you don't have a cutting machine, you could use stickers, rub-on transfers, whatever you have. But I'm just going to go ahead and apply these right to my crate. It's easy as that. So after this last word goes on, this crate is done, and this is going to go on the back of my toilet to hold some toilet paper for guests, and it was so easy. I love it. Okay, next DIY, this is my second favorite. This sleigh actually came from the Target Dollar Spot this year as well, and it was $5. And I'm going to start off by putting a piece of foam inside. That way, it kind of takes up a lot of room. Then I got this pack of little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use one. And I'm going to stuff it with whatever I have. Like, that is literally the plastic from what I just opened, the little bags. And then I just have some paper that I'm going to crumble up and put inside. And this is going to act like the Grinch's sack when he steals everything. Next, I'm going to take this pack of presents, and I am just going to go through and I'm going to start hot gluing these presents to the foam. Now, there's two sizes. These are the bigger sizes, and in a little bit, you're going to see that I'm going to use the smaller size. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do my first layer first, and as you can see, I'm kind of doing them topsy-turvy at an angle, so that way they're not just like straight up and down. Some of them are overlapping over the red part of the sleigh, and to do this, I'm just kind of adding hot glue wherever the gift is going to touch the gift next to it, if that makes sense. And I'm just trying my best to hide all of the foam. So now here's the smaller pack, and I'm just going to use these to build it up, because if you remember, the sled was like overflowing with presents. So that's just what I'm doing. I'm just going to have basically a big mountain of presents. Real quick, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Like I said, my name's Ashley. I am a wife and a mama of now two, a 5-year-old and a 3.5-week-old. So if you hear some cooing in the background, that's who it is. Little Charlotte is hanging out with me while I'm working today. But if you are a fan of DIYs, home decor, decorate with me's, room refreshers, room makeovers, this is definitely the channel for you. So definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you would be so kind to give this video a thumbs up, I would truly appreciate that as well, because it helps my channel to grow and it helps it to float around YouTube so more people see it, which it would be amazing. So thank you so much for clicking on this, and I hope you enjoy these Grinch DIYs and how it all came together at the end in my bathroom. So you have to continue watching. All right, so once I had all of the presents put on to my sled, I'm going to take that thing of decals again, and I'm actually going to cut out the max decal. Now, I want the cardboard, I want it to be a little stiffer than a window cling, so I'm going to go ahead and cut as close to the white as I can, and that way I am left with just basically the just the decal, but with the cardboard under it too. So now I thought that it'd be cute for Max to kind of pop out from the top, but I did notice it was kind of flimsy. So what I'm actually going to do, well, first I decided to glue the little bag to the foam. That's my ADD. But now what I'm going to do is just take this mini craft stick, and I'm going to hot glue it to the back just to kind of give it some stability. And then I'm just going to hot glue Max down in my sled. And I'm just putting hot glue wherever Max is touching, basically. And then I'm going to put kind of a pool of hot glue down at the bottom. Now, you can have some of the craft stick sticking out, and you could just stick it right in the foam, but all my foam was covered. So I didn't really have, I couldn't really do that. So now I decided that the front of my sled really needed to be dressed up. So what I'm going to do is take this little like bulb decal or lights, I don't know what these are supposed to be, ornaments, lights, and this came from that sheet of decals, and I'm going to basically Mod Podge them around the top of my sled. Now, I only had enough to do this one side and the front, which is fine because where I'm planning to put this in the bathroom, you're only going to see this front part. So I am making sure to put Mod Podge on the bottom and on the top of the decal. And I did have to kind of cut it apart to make sure that I got all the right angles and everything, and that I could follow the shape of the sled. So I'm just going to go ahead and Mod Podge these ornaments on. So once that's done, I'm going to take the puffy paint again, and I'm just going to run a bunch of paint across the top, and I'm kind of going to make it drip down on those bulbs as well. There was also some foam that I noticed that was showing, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that puffy paint and kind of just like paint over it to make it look like snow got, you know, in those openings. I don't know why I didn't cover that. I covered the back, but I didn't cover the front. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my puffy paint to do the side of, or like the front that's going to show, and then the very front of the sleigh. I hope that makes sense. Basically, all this. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom as well. Now, after I did this, I did decide that I wanted to add more of that decal to the bottom. So I just used my Mod Podge to go ahead and Mod Podge a string of those on. Now, this was still wet, so I had to be careful, but yeah, but I liked that better. I just felt like it dressed the sleigh up a lot more. And as you can see, I'm putting Mod Podge over the top too, so it doesn't fall off. Now, I just was looking at it, and I just knew it needed something, and I got an idea. So I got this pack of trees from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take one of the small ones. I took the stand out, and I'm going to make it look like a Who tree that he stole. So these are beads, and these are the smallest beads that I have. You can use anything. You can use little puff balls. You can yeah, just use anything you have, but you figure the hoot trees are always really colorful and really fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some beads just basically in the front of this tree that's going to be showing. And then I have a gold star that was just in my stash that I'm going to go ahead and hot glue to the top. And this way I can go ahead and stick this in the sled and to make it look like one of the trees that the Grinch stole. Now, I just stuffed the tree right in there because it had the stand at the bottom, like the pointy stick at the bottom. So I kind of just pushed it into the foam. And then I did just kind of add some hot glue at the bottom. And that was it. That completed this sleigh, and I love it so much. It came out super cute. This is another super easy one. This was a DIY that I did at the beginning of the year for Valentine's Day. If you've been following me, you might recognize it, but it is kind of falling apart. So I just went ahead and took all the stickers off, and then I used my heat gun to take this heart off. And this is just another one of those decals. Now, this frame did come from the Dollar Tree originally, and it probably had words or something on it, but I probably used 100% acetone to take it off. So I will have to, you could definitely go back to the original video, the Valentine's video at the beginning of the year when I made that original craft on it to see what it looked like before. But this is how simple this one is, and it stands up and it looks so high end. Something you'd find at Hobby Lobby, I think. Okay, these next DIYs, we are going to knock them out, and they are so easy. So I took this candle that I got from the Dollar Tree and gave it 2 coats of that scallion paint. Next, I went ahead and cut 3 different sizes of the hearts shape from my Cricut, and I'm just simply going to put these on the front of my candle. And this is to represent the Grinch's heart growing 3 sizes that day. So after my hearts were on, I'm just going to take this red and white baker's twine, and I'm going to wrap it a few times around the top and tie it in the front. And that is how easy this DIY is as well. Now, if you don't want to paint your candle, they do have green ones at the Dollar Tree. I just didn't have any at mine, but I really love how this came out. All right, this one is super easy. I got this tray from the Target dollar spot this year, so I'm just going to go ahead and add some Mod Podge to the middle. Take another window decal and put it right in the middle and put some Mod Podge on top, and that's it. Seriously, I told you, these are so simple and they take minutes to make. But now I have this really cool Grinch riser, and that I think that is, again, high-end and something you'd see in a store. All right, for the next DIY, I'm going to take these red cups, and I'm only going to use one, and again, it came from the Dollar Tree. And I cut out this circle from my Cricut, so I'm going to put that in the middle, and then I cut out Who Hash as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down, and this is going to hold some goodies. I know it sounds weird because it's in the bathroom, but hang with me, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I really loved how that easy that was. All right, this next one is super easy. I again found this candle from the Dollar Tree, and then I purchased this Grinch face SVG from Etsy, and it was 99 cents. I can go ahead and leave the link in the description box below. So I just sized it to my candle. I did add the yellow vinyl behind his eyes to kind of make them pop a little bit. So I just cut it down before I put this decal on the candle. So I'm just going to go ahead and rub that on, and that's how easy this candle was to make. Now, I did have to kind of cut it and work with it a little bit because it is round and it is small, but I could not believe how perfect this color was for a Grinch bathroom. So, and I feel like once I light it, it's gonna look so cool too. But I absolutely love this candle. I think it's one of my favorite DIYs in this entire video. And that's how easy it was to knock out a ton of Grinch DIYs on a budget for sure. Look how cute this is. I love it. Okay, for this last DIY, I am going to take this arrow and I'm going to faux stain it by dipping a baby wipe into some Waverly Antique Wax and just using that to faux stain it. Then I'm also going to do the same thing to a paint stick. This is not the 1 gallon. This is just a, I don't know, just whatever the smallest one is, I guess. Now, you're going to see this DIY kind of change up a little bit, but I'll explain it. So this was actually inspired from something I saw on Pinterest, and they had an arrow in the trash can saying dump it to crumpet. And if you remember, Mount Crumpet is where the Grinch lives, and that's where all the trash goes. So I went ahead and cut this out on my Cricut, and for now, I'm going to go ahead and put the words on. And my idea was to hot glue the arrow to the paint stick and then hot glue the paint stick inside the trash can, so the arrow was kind of like going down at an angle, but I didn't really like how it looked. You can see it, you can tell I'm just kind of like stunning it. So then I decided that I liked it better with the arrow going straight down. So now what I had to do was redo the words, but I didn't want to cut them out again. So what I decided to do was just turn my arrow around to the back, faux stain that, let it dry, and then I'm just simply going to take my words off the front and put them on the back, but so they're facing the other direction, so the arrow is facing down. So this was just me being lazy and not wanting to go cut this out again. But also I didn't want to waste it because, it was, it's good vinyl and stuff. So anyway, so I just went ahead and did that, and then I hot glued the arrow to the paint stick, and then I hot glued that inside the trash can, and I think it's hilarious. I hope people actually get it. Now, this time when I positioned my letters, I kind of did put them kind of messy on there because I just felt like that's what this sign would look like if it was in Whoville. So if they weren't straight up and down, that was okay. I just kind of angled it. And then, like I said, I just hot glued the arrow to the paint stick and hot glued the paint stick inside. But I did go ahead and raise it up a little bit. That way, obviously people can see it. And then after that, this DIY is done, and this trash can did come from the Dollar Tree, so super basic, but this is done, and that completes all my Grinch bathroom DIYs. And now it's time to see how I put them all together in my Grinchmas bathroom. What do you think? Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to go over where I got everything that wasn't a DIY. Okay, so the tree came from Five Below this year. I know it's cramped, I get it, you don't have to let me know, I already know that. Next year, I think I'm gonna just go for a smaller one. Everything on the tree, ornament-wise, Dollar Tree, all the picks are Hobby Lobby. These, I do a Grinchmas party every year, so I had a lot of photo props and stuff. So this was actually a photo prop, so I just stuck it in there. This came from Hobby Lobby. These candles came from Hobby Lobby. I don't really know if I love them there. I'm probably gonna end up switching it out, but I just really didn't know what to put there. This was another photo prop, and I just taped it to a picture frame. This is something I made last year, very simple on a chalkboard. And I put these here to match the tree and also the thing above my mirror, which I'll get to in a minute. These came from Hobby Lobby. We made that. Five Below is this Grinch bobblehead. My daughter picked that one out, so she really wanted it. I made this for a Grinchmas party. It was just one of those tinsel trees. I took off the tinsel and I wrapped garland around it, and then I just added berries and little poof balls and then just an ornament, and that is like the Whoville tree. So I love that because it looks like Whoville up here. Okay. So moving along to this wall, this came from Hobby Lobby. They have a ton of Grinch decor. This also came from Hobby Lobby. The red towels came from Dollar Tree. They are kitchen towels. I will probably get bathroom towels. I just didn't want to spend a ton. But this is stuff that I can collect, you know, all year or after the seasons. This rug I forgot to show. This actually came from Walmart. This came from Target, and it does say home for the holidays, but I flipped it so it's green. I'm on the hunt. I just had that one, but I'm on the hunt for a different one. And then here's all the display. The tree came from Dollar Tree last year, and then we made all the other stuff, and we have some goodies. I told you. I know it's kind of weird, it's in the bathroom, but kind of just remind me of like when you go to like a fancy bathroom, they have mints or whatever. So I just, you know, they can have a treat. We made this, all this stuff we made, and then of course this we also made, and then this up top, that came from Hobby Lobby, and that's why I put those other two picks over there to kind of bring it all together, and I thought that it looked really good. So that is my Grinch bathroom. I'm sure throughout the years I'm probably going to make more stuff or add stuff. I just wanted to get this done. I wish my bathroom was a little bigger so my tree didn't look so weird, but you know what, that's okay. Maybe next year or at the end of this season I can look for a pencil tree and it'll be better, I don't know. But I absolutely love how my bathroom came out. I think it's so fun and festive. You're gonna have to let me know down in the comments what you think. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and that way it helps my channel to grow. And yeah, I hope you got a lot of inspiration and ideas for a Grinch theme area in your home. Well, until I see you again, I'll DIY and decorate with you soon. Bye!